Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me here at Fish Easy. Tonight I'm introducing a unboxing video that occurred a few months ago. The reason why I did not release it a few months ago is because simply, well, when you unbox something and you try out a product, it doesn't seem reasonable to me that I should be able to have an opinion about it. I need some time to pass. And I need to be able to give some opinions that might be of use or practical value to you. Well, that happened, and I have some points that I wish to share about this heater, and please enjoy the unboxing video, and at the end please note that I come back for some final words and some thoughts about heaters in general. So enjoy! This is the box. I haven't opened it up. I don't even know what it looks like inside. I imagine. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so it's a box in a box. Box in a box. Here we go. Okay, what we're looking at is a HYGGER Smart PTC heater, HG921. This particular heater, I know nothing about, but I definitely am interested in finding out if it's going to be good for my fish room, because if it's good for my fish room, it could be very well good for your fish room too. So open it up. It's got the usual stuff, packing, user manual. Okay, this is something interesting. You can put the thing flat on the bottom of the tank. That's nice to know. You can also put it up vertical in the tank. That's good to know. And they have the normal warnings about how to do a drip loop. Okay. This is the tank. Okay. Wow. This is some heater. Got some brackets. This is definitely a bigger heater than the one that I have in these little 5 gallons. And you may have to use this on a bigger tank. Don't need the box. Don't need the plastic. Okay. Well, this is most interesting. It's a safety electric energy saving heater. I had no idea. I had no idea. I thought it was a 50-watt heater. This is pretty hefty for a 50-watt heater. But apparently they sent me something bigger. It's a 500-watt heater. Well, in this case, I won't use it in one of the 5 gallons. I'll have to use it in a bigger tank. But I do have some bigger tanks, and we'll give it a try. And we're going to set it up. We're going to use it. We're going to make it a practical use. And that'll probably be in a future video where we see where we've been using it. This is very heavy, and that's one very interesting aspect. I guess it would have to be if this thing was going to be 500 watts. This will heat up a very large tank. Now behind me is the 90-gallon, and so what I might do is we could just unplug the heater that's in there, which is a HYGGER. No, it's not a HYGGER, it's an HYGGER. So we can unplug the HYGGER and use the HYGGER, and this way I might have easier access, because with the HYGGER I always have trouble figuring out how on earth I'm going to control it. This is a very long cord, as you can see. I like that. I'm always looking for that, and as you can see from these heaters, the reason I like it is because the heater's inside, and the controller or temperature set device is on the outside, right here in front, where I can change it, up it, lower it at a moment's notice. It's got a button. This looks like it's simple to use. It's got an some sort of readout, and it's got a button. Probably works the same as these buttons here. I like it to be dummy proof. I like heaters that you don't have to figure out a lot of complicated things. I imagine this goes into the tank, and I guess this goes out of the tank, and it gets plugged in. How much How complicated can that be? And then the section cup obviously goes there. You want to see what that feels like? Okay. Slides on easy. Not bad. And there's 4. Okay. So you got 4 to hold the thing on. It's kind of heavy, so I guess it would need to be. Okay. So we're going to give that a try. This was a surprise box opening, and it's for HYGGER, the HG921, and I'm anxious to try it out now. So we'll try it out on our discus tank. I also would like to see more about this. Is this just a temperature controller with the display on the on this thing? I wonder if well, this is most interesting. This is most interesting. Look, it's a heater that gives you error codes and will tell you if the heater rod is exposed to air, so in other words, it's not in water. If the water temperature is higher than 97, I guess, I wonder if it would make an audible beep. If there's a communication failure, it says the solution on that case is to discard the heater. The relay is melted, discard the heater. Temperature sensor is short circuit protection, discard the heater. So there's error codes. But what I want to know is, so it's, most interesting. Safety control protects against overheating. When the water temperature passes 97 accidentally, the heater will stop heating automatically. When the water temperature is less than 34, the heater will start working automatically. Of course, it would have to be in water for that to happen. 34, that's Celsius. So when the water temperature is less than 93, the heater will start working automatically. Okay, so it cuts out at 97. It'll start working again if it gets below 93. It just says it will start again, but doesn't mean it will heat up to that. It's a dual relay design. One heater with 2 relays is like 2 parts, 2 hearts for 1 person. It is safer for aquariums. So two relays. So if one goes bad, at least the whole thing doesn't go bad. So there's got a lot of extra protection in here. I've never heard of this kind of heater. I'm not even familiar with it. It was nice of somebody to pick it out for me. It has an ABS protective sleeve, so it prevents small fish from harm. After you shut it off, the heater will keep the last setting once power is on again. So if the power goes out, power goes back on. It has a memory. That's good. If the water is too low, the rod is exposed, the heater shuts off automatically. Okay. So it kind of sounds like they're trying to do a heater with a controller. It's like doing the same thing with a controller, using relays to hit the power off and on if there's certain conditions that exist. Well, I'm impressed. I'm excited to give it a try. This is something that HYGGER has put together. I will say this. I have not purchased many HYGGER products myself. However, there is one product I did purchase, and I totally love it. Unfortunately, it's not here. I can't show you what it is. It's actually at the fish grow-out center, and it's the HYGGER algae scraper. It's a telescoping rod, and it has a pad on it, and it works great. I like that because I have big tanks there, and I'm going through the tanks, catching the back, everything, and getting all that brown algae off. So that's sort of what it's all about. Amazing, simply amazing. The company I don't know a lot about, other than I did do some investigation to find out that they have a very strong presence here in Canada and US, but I think actually they are a Chinese company originally. So in other words, it's probably manufactured in China. That's my guess. And we'll see if I can confirm that. If it says it anywhere, I don't see it there. Maybe it's on the box. Probably does. Yeah, made in China. I found it. And their website is HYGGER-ONLINE.com, HYGGERonline.com with a hyphen in the middle. HYGGER-online.com. So according to this, the features are, it's got a controller and a heating rod. Do not use the heating rod in corrosive water. Wow. Fully submergible. External temperature controller. Frequency conversion design. Probably that means they can use it in Europe as well. So that is the extent of my unboxing, but unboxing it for me is just the beginning. So we're going to check back at a future time to see how it's running, and I'm going to have maybe a little rundown on something about it, like for example how it's been operating, how accurate the temperature is, but only after I've been using it for a while. Because can I really give this product my thumbs up saying, you know, hey, I use it and would recommend it to someone? Only after I've tested it, not after I've unboxed it. I do know that a lot of people, I say, oh, unboxing, let me see what it is. And, I know people flock to a lot of videos because of that, but the truth is, it's just an unboxing. Okay, you saw what was in the box, but to really be able to comment on the product, it has to be something that has been tested. So let's do that. Let's test it now in the next couple weeks, and in a future moment we'll reconvene here, and we'll just make a moment to talk about the pros and cons of what I found out. Okay, this is a follow-up. I just wanted to look at how well the fish are doing in this tank, but specifically how the heater is doing. This HYGGER heater has been stuck there on the back. Actually, there was an issue that first occurred. These fish are not giving me a chance to look at it, but it's been there for a few weeks since we first put it up. Unfortunately, the suction cups in the back kind of gave way. So I thought, oh no, that was just after I put it in. I thought, well, perhaps there's an issue with the suction cups. Maybe they're not using the best quality. The thing was like loose, and I had to go in there and push it back onto the wall. But it's been a few weeks after that, and it hasn't come out again. So it's possible the first time you use it, I don't know, but it seems like the first time you use it, maybe the thing has air bubbles or something that form under the suction cups and it doesn't work. Now, I want to give my personal observation. The controller, it goes out of the water, and then there's a controller out here in the front. And so as you can see, the temperature I have it set to is 82, and it's showing 81.9 right now, which is perfect. And also it's in color. It's kind of neat when you stop and think about it, that this controller is kind of nice. The only thing I don't like about the controller is that there's no real good way to hook it up. That's another aspect I don't like, because typically you want to have a display like this somewhere you can see it. So I've used a strap. Doesn't look the greatest, but at least I got something to hold it up, and the shape of the thing makes it so that it will hold. And I have it strapped to the support here. So I do notice that when it is in the heating mode, the little line goes up, and its movement shows to me that it's actually working. So I do like the display. It's big. The apparatus itself is probably too big. It seems like it has a lot of extra, but maybe that's necessary for what is on the inside. It's also easy to program. If I push the button, I have it 82. I can just keep pushing. it works very much like other heaters. It goes up to the degree you want to set it, and then it rotates back around. It's just, if I want to keep it at 80, I just set it to whatever and I let go. Now it's at 80 instead of 81. Maybe 80 is good enough. Maybe I want to up it. So let's up it to when it, I went past it. So if I went past, I have to go all the way around to 82 again. But that's, you don't often change it, so it's not really a problem. So it's 1 and 2, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. Blinks a few times, and then da-da, shows me the actual reading of the temperature of the water. So that's a little update on this. I would like to make one other observation about my likes or dislikes about this particular heater, and that is, it's in my tank, and I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna let you see. We're looking at a discus tank. It also has some Central American cichlids, known as, these are Thorictis maculopinus, or sometimes spot cheek cichlids, etc. You're looking at also some catfish in there. I'm looking at beautiful discus, and the colors, they're young and they're just starting to come out with the colors. But what I don't like is when I look in the back of my black tank, I have black wall, I have a black background, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's white lettering that sticks out, and it just like detracts from the beauty of the tank. It's bad enough to have a big apparatus like that hanging in the tank so you can see it, but when it's, I mean, I understand they want to promote, but even that fine print, you know, it's like, okay, it says safety electric energy saving heater. Okay, I know it's a heater. It's nice to see that it's 500 watts in this case. Yeah, okay, fine. But it just distracts. It looks like a big smiley in white on my black background. And I would think that it would be less pronounced if it was, see, I step back. I want to look at the beautiful fish. I see some beauties in here, and I want to see beautiful fish, and then I don't want to be distracted by an advertisement in my tank. But that's my observation. That's what I would say about this particular heater. The things I don't like about it, the things I do. Obviously, it's got a very nice long cord. That's another positive thing. I've learned that the long cord is really good. And so I want to just mention these things as good aspects of the heater. Would I buy this heater? Probably. If I were to buy this heater for myself, I would probably do so, because I can see it's pretty good. If it fails on me within a year, I would be like hesitant to do so again, but I don't think that's going to be the case. In fact, when I hold it in my hand, it feels like it's made with some decent quality. So that's my observations. It's my after we've had it for a number of weeks, I wanted to come back and give this little follow-up on the heater itself, and probably next we'll just conclude. So thank you very much for watching that. Well, there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed this review of the HYGGER heater, and I'm going to actually give a couple extra thoughts here at the end. Basically, I really enjoy the heater. I think that it's a good value-based heater because it has a lot of aspects that are just so... I have, for example, heaters that I keep or have been collecting and using that are this kind, this type, and it seems inevitably that they take not too long. Maybe they're only good for about a year before they're just unreliable. They get stuck and they get sticky, and sometimes I've had them just go out, just no longer work. At least the setting and the controls aren't working well. So these, obviously, if you're willing to pay a cheaper price, but then of course replace them every year, then just to be reliable, then of course you could go with something like that. On the other hand, I've also started using a different kind of heater. This is one by Aquarium Co-op, and HYGGER makes one very similar. I haven't tested the HYGGER one, but what I have found about I found that this 100-watt heater has a lot of holes in it, and of course the heating elements are in the inside. So I got these so I can use them for actually breeding tanks, so I'm going to have very small fry. And what I found is that a lot of times the fry, especially if I put some very small catfish, they love to go inside this little cave because that's what they think it is. And of course all the holes make it easy to go in and out, and the tiny baby catfish are inside. When I got these aquarium co-op heaters, they, well, I got 4 of them and one of them came out of the box defective, but Aquarium Co-op was very quick in replacing it for free. Well, they replaced not the heater because they couldn't send it to me here in Canada because I had picked these up while I was in the United States. But what they could do is just refund me right away, and they did. And then only 2 months later, after that, I had one of these heaters just go out. So this is the one that just stopped working, and I don't know why. And it doesn't make a lot of sense because I don't see any defects. I don't know how to make it work again, and so I'm out. But we have a couple of them that are still working, and they work very well. What I like about them is that there is a controller. I don't know if you can see the controller here. It allows me to see inside, and the readout is right here in the front. Is an LED readout, and then I can control the thing by pushing the button from remote. So I can up and down the temperature, and that makes it very handy. Very much like the HYGGER heater that we looked at tonight. Heaters in general are not so great, but I have a feeling that in the long run, that a heater such as this one, where we have an element that's on the inside, the controller on the outside, is going to actually end up being a little longer lived heater for general use, and that's what I plan on using. So I hope that was helpful. I didn't really say yes you should or you shouldn't. Everyone has to make their own decision of what they're going to go with, and they have to try it out and be happy with it. And what I also have found is that I'm getting more and more happy with the very simple Tetra type of actually I have some that are just 78-degree non-adjustable heaters, and those seem to work out the best because what they do is they prevent the tank from getting too cold, and they just hold it at 78, and they never, it seems like I have never had one of those go out, and I have some for many years. Those are the style that just do not seem to fail. But these other ones with the little bi-metal thermostat that's on the inside and the turn, twist, these ones not so great. This is again, of course, one that you can get from cheaply on Amazon, or it comes from China, Chinese made. Of course, you know, these are Chinese made too. You know, they're made in China, and then Aquarium Co-op puts their name on it, and we get it. So it's not necessarily where it's produced or where it's manufactured, but it is definitely the style that I concern myself. What I like about the HYGGER heater that you saw in this video is even after all this time, some 6 months I've been using it, I actually have found that it is keeping precise temperature. It hardly ever comes on because the room itself is actually quite warm. It stays warm, so the heater itself only comes on and keeps it at a minimum temperature for my discus tank. But I also like the fact that it's pretty hefty. It has what I would say good heat sinks on the device itself. The larger one, of course, for larger fish is not a problem with small fish getting inside the holes or the like, but that's okay. You know, I have not seen an actual fish ever get hurt from being able to go inside. I was able to, with a little careful dipping, get all the catfish out when it was come time to get them out of the tank. So it was a little troublesome, but it wasn't impossible. But to compare that with something like this, well, I'll tell you another story. There was an accident, and I had 2 of these in a tank, and one of them was turned off, unplugged. And the one I took out of the water I thought was the unplugged one. It was just an accident. And then I was reaching in and getting fish, and voila, I got a nice little scar, nice little burn here, because I was reaching into the tank and the one that was out of the water got hot. and that can happen. But I find it hard to get burned, and I think safety is another issue. I think there's no real hot spots that I can touch that in one like this. Now the other negative side is, of course, when I got this in the breeder tank, I tend not to use the suction cups, simply because when I have a male and a female fish swimming around in the tanks, what happens is the male chases the female goes behind the heater, and they can squeeze in where the suction cups are, and no good. So I actually disconnect it from the wall so that if a female can get back there, so can the male to chase her back out. The idea being that during the chase, the male's trying to induce the female to lay the eggs. So for a breeding aspect, that's another reason, another little tidbit, I just hang it off. So I'll give you a chance to look at what I'm talking about. These are the heaters in play. So right here what you see is this is a heater that's got 81 and 81 degrees, and it's working. And so as you can see, I can just press buttons on the outside, and this one of course is loose. It's not against the wall at any rate, and I don't need to put it against the wall. And the point being that fish can swim around it. But of course, if this was a display tank and I wanted to put it in there, and again, you know, this is the same issue as before. The Aquarium Co-op has their logo right on the heater, and it kind of sticks out and doesn't allow the heater to blend in. Of course, if you've got bright lights shining the temperature on the heater on the inside rather than the controller on the outside, that's another reason why, well, alright, you already got the 81, in this case 81 degrees staring at you, so it doesn't really, it isn't subtle. So now as I push the button, and I'll just go ahead and push the button here, and you'll get to see how this thing works. I push the button, it blinks, it goes into mode. Now I'm just changing, I'm just keep pushing the button, it goes up and up and up and up. But I wanted to lower it down to 80, so then I just keep pushing it. It cycles down to the lower numbers, and when it gets to 80, I stop. There, I stop, let go, it blinks a few times, and now it's set at 80, and right now it is in cool down mode because actual temperature of the water is 81, but it's not heating. The little light doesn't come on. So right now it's not going to do anything. So that's what this kind of heater does, and I don't know that I need to have anything different. I think in the case of the HYGGER, I think it seems to be more natural to have the temperature on the outside. And so here we are today with the temperature on the outside, and I can see it, it's not heating. If it were heating, it would be showing a little line action going across the arc. So this is on the outside, and well, and there's the name right there. You need the name. So that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see some of our other action videos. And as you can see from the change in the time period, the fish in this tank have grown some, and they're looking pretty good. I guess they like their HYGGER heater. Good night. And I'd like to take a moment just to thank you, HYGGER, and the different individuals who contacted me about this. It was very kind of you to reach out and ask if I would do a review of this heater, and I would like to thank them. I haven't received anything except for the heater in recompense for the heater. I thought it was very generous of them to share it. Would I recommend this heater to others? I certainly would. I think it's, so far, I have no other complaints. It seems to be more reliable, and I do have plans to buy more heaters for some specific cases and some tanks at my grow out center, and so I will be getting some additional heaters. I'll just go online and purchase them, and these will be no doubt a great asset to the fish room.